Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the Morning. 15 minutes to hopefully change our lives. Elul edition. This shir is sponsored by Yehudis Suarez Hecht, L'Schus Yosef ben Rachel, and Yehudis Bas Matel in honor of their wedding last night. And that was an amazing wedding. May there be zechet, inner peace, clarity, shalom bayis, and a home flowing with the light of the Eibishter. Okay. Today's class is going to be very interesting. I'm going to talk about a very interesting idea, but you're going to learn it in the Chassidish type. And yeah, okay, let's go. So basically, we're talking in Ois Zayin. So we're talking about how not just that the Yud Gimel is Harachamim, that's being expressed in Elul, helps the Yid, but ultimately that we help it. Because the whole purpose of Yud Gimel Rachmim itself is to help a Yid. And that's why when it comes down into this lower world and it helps us actually being elevated to a place that it's above from where it's from. Because why? Because the Yid is Mushish and Atzmas. We are Sos and Atzmas. So we are sort of the highest, we're the head of the food chain, so to speak, when it comes to spirituality. So we'll go back from a little bit and just go a running start. We say from page 367 in my sefer, wherever in your sefer, page Zayin. Connected to what it says. Melech l'sada nevad, that the king to the field is subjected, meaning shafil melech, even the king. Shein l'mayla mimenu, that there's nothing above the king. The king is on the top. He's the head of the food chain. King is the most chashuv, but nevertheless, he's limited, subjected to the field. Why? Because that's where he lives. Meaning the field, meaning where there's the farms and where the food is. So you can be the greatest, the most important, most chashuv person, but without food, you're not going to last very long. So therefore, according to what it says in the Zohar, that who is this king that we're talking about? Man, Melech, Melech, this is talking about the sublime king. Talking about a level of not God himself in Atzmos, but a lower level, which is still a very high level, was their Anpin, which is sort of like the beginning. It's even higher than the source of the world. It's sort of the source of the world. It's like you have an idea before you have it really thought out properly. It's like that first discussion you have about the idea, and you're just trying to think about this idea. There's no real practical ideas of how I'm going to express this desire of mine this once, but it's like it's on that deep level. Who is bonded to the field, we can say this Melchila, even so to speak, the Melchila, his level of godliness is subjected to the field. And how? Al Yidei Sheyered through coming down and being included in the and being drawn down into the field, meaning Ki Al Yidei Zeh Mizgale Hakavana Boy, that helps reveal that its intent. He Bishul Yisrael is for the Jew. Shishar Sham Ba'atzos, the Desos Natzos. I mean, even though Melchila is coming down to the field, this level of godliness is coming down to a low level, but Yud Gimel Rachmim, but ultimately the field and the people in the field, the Yidden, they're source and atzmos. So and the whole purpose is for them. So therefore, and also like it says in the Zayar, is Sadev. The first one we're saying is that even these higher levels of godliness, even the level of Yud Gimel Rachmim, one second. Okay, so according to what it says in the Zayar, is Sadeh, not just that. So not just the fact that we're saying that that the third attributes are on a low level in the essence of a Yid, the third coming down and helping a Yid, it's revealing its whole purpose. Now, it says in the Zayar, there is Sadeh, there's a field, and there's a field, meaning there's a field of Kedusha, Sadeh de Kedusha, Sadeh Lumatzeh, and a field of the opposite side of Kedusha, unholiness. So this that the king is subjected to the field. It's not just meaning that the Yugim Rachamim get elevated through the Yid, and that's itself. It's not just talking about the Yid that is in the field, meaning in the field of Kedusha, but even the Yid in the opposite of Kedusha. Through the king coming down into the field, meaning not God himself, but the Yud Rachamim coming down into the field, coming down to the Yid. It makes an ilui, an advantage, elevation to that level. Mainly through the Hagilu, the Yud Rachamim, it's that this Yud Rachamim that's above Sedish Tashalos, which is in general sense called Melchilah, who gamli sal himself b'midbar, even to the Yid in the desert. Wild idea. Sad lumazeh. Shal yidei zeh miskal le'aratz nafnim shalhem. V'yotzim midbar. Through this, it reveals their inner desire. The inner desire of the Yid is in the desert, and that helps them go out. Helps the Jew go out from the Sad lumazeh, the Sad the Kedusha to the holy field. To greet the king. So again, and this Maimon has been giving to us. Hopefully, I'm starting to internalize this message that you can be in the field, you can be even in the desert, but you're a Yid. You have, and this is sort of what you could sort of saying you have a neshama that's so good, you can be in the worst of places spiritually. Meaning, not in the sense of like I'm a bad person. More like I'm not controlling my life. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not doing the right things. I'm not listening to an actual kiss. I'm not doing things the way I should be doing. And Im calls that, nevertheless, even with all that we're not doing what we should, we give a Maila, this person that's in the desert, which means they're totally not doing it properly the way they should be. Nevertheless, that person in the desert brings an advantage to the Yud Gimel Rachamim, because ultimately that person in the desert is still sourced in Atzvus. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose of these Yud Rachamim. When they reveal it, they reveal that connection to the person. That bring it out. So it's a wild idea. And that helps reveal the inner desire of that Yid that's in the desert. To go out of the desert, which is this field that's on the opposing of Kedusha. The Sada to Kedusha, to the holy field, to go greet the king. It gets them the ability to the persons in the desert to come out of the desert. And in the beginning, the Yid was in the ultimate of Rechuk, of distance. It's even more revealed, the innerness of the Jew. The inner, which is our Hamiti, that's the true desire of every single Jew, even the one that's in the desert, even the one place, and you look at them, you don't see anything. The inner desire is Gam b'shas hachet. He says in the brackets, even in the time of their sin. This is again another wild idea. Even in the time of their sin, what's the desire of every Jew? He wants a likus. We said before, and so you see the flow of the mind. That's why you have to learn it yourself. You have to see it. It's like we build up stages. Before we said that through the Yud Mizrachim, it helps reveal for the Yid that the Ratzin for Likus becomes his Ratzin. Well, we were saying that in the sense that you go out of Yugalus, you go out of the Sadeh, Dulamatzeh, you go out of the desert, and then it helps reveal that you really want a Likus. But what we're saying is on a deeper level, and then really as we're going on, we're not going different explanation, we're just going deeper into it. And what we're saying is on a deeper level, by Yid, even when we're doing a sin, we still want to be connected to Likus. And so to speak, we're living this dichotomy, and it's a problem. But we should realize that we're always wanting what's right and what's real. The only issue that the Yitzhar is too strong. Meaning, and as Tanya explains, that one of the biggest Chedushim, we're between Chai Elul and Tesvav Elul when Tinchim was started. One of the biggest Chedushim of Chassidus brought out that we have two neshamas. Meaning, how is it that one day I do everything good and perfect, and I behave like a mensch, listen to nefesh kiss all the time, and the next day you're totally opposite. So if you don't have the chassidus, you think there's a problem with you and you're not a good person. Whereas if you have chassidus, it's a very simple answer. You have nefesh b'hamis, nefesh kiss. That's what we're saying here. In nefesh b'hamis is betakva yetzahara is ruling your life, unfortunately, and therefore you're doing the wrong thing and you're hanging out in the wrong place. But that doesn't negate that you're nefesh kiss and that you be'atzmi yid want to be connected to Hashem. And now he's going to bring, so there's a climax of the shir. Now he's going to bring an example of a bring a way of understanding this. So he brings the famous idea that if there's a maiden that's in the desert and she gets taken by a person and he lies with her, it says, so the simple taich is Tzaka Naira, the maiden screams out for help. Bein Mashiach, there's no one to save her. There's no one around. She's in the desert. And therefore, and it's like what the punishment happens to him and stuff like this. So now we're going to learn this idea. This is a very harsh idea, but now we're going to explain it in the Chassidish way, and you'll see it's like a whole different experience. Okay, the Perish Tzemach Tzedek, as the Tzemach Tzedek explains on the pasuk, Ki vasad matzasa, because she was found in the field. The maiden was found in the field. Tzaka Naira, and she cried out. There's no one to help her. Poor lady, the maiden, she's in the field, and then the guy takes and he rapes her. And there's no one that she screamed out for help, but no one helped her. So what does the Rebbe say? What's the Chassidish touch of this? Shegam Geshan Naira. Who's the Naira? Who's the young girl? Who's the maiden? It's the Neshama. Even when the Neshama, it's in the fields of Klippa, it's in the desert. Bisemis and even more. Shezeg Gara. Because the neshama is hanging out in the wrong place, because we've given in to our neshama, to our nefesh b'hamis and the yetzahara, and we haven't been doing the right decisions, which putting us in a bad situation, to the extent that Esav ish sadeh, Esav, the man in the field, which is not a good person, hechazik bab shachmimo, held her and he slept with her, meaning the neshama has been brought in the wrong place and is being profaned. And we're not taking care of neshama, and neshama is being ruined, so to speak, and cause us to do things that we even probably wouldn't have thought of we would do. Hine gam az, even then, haratza in the neshama, the ratza in the neshama that's being taken by Esav, hu b'kedusha, wants kedusha. V'hi tzayekes b'may nafsha, and the neshama screams out from the bitterness of its soul, and this is the taika nara, crying out, Al Zesh Esavish Sadeh Machzipa. The neshama is crying, even though we're doing the wrong thing, but our neshama is crying out and saying, why are you holding me? And that's what it means. She screams. And the neshama is screaming, even when we're doing the Vera, and we don't even hear it. We're totally oblivious to this. And that's such a sad situation. But that's the reality. And that's what he's saying. The reality is that neshama doesn't like this. Neshama would like to be in the field. And neshama is screaming out. And when we do something wrong to our neshama, that's what's happening. Neshama, it's like the neshama is being raped. But what happens? The neshama screams out, so in the pasuk it says, Ein Meshel, there's no one to save them. But in the Chassidish Taich, through that screaming out of the neshama that's being mistreated, Ein Meshel, which is the ayin, meaning the nothingness, meaning the true nothingness, meaning the true Eibishter, the Eibishter. Shenimshach la Yeshua, that a salvation comes to this maiden, meaning to our neshama, mibechinas ayin, from this level of ayin, which is above sedi shtashlos. So what causes when the neshama is doing an avera, and the reason why the neshama is doing an avera, the reason why the person is doing an avera is because they're in the wrong place, but they're doing the wrong things. But the neshama, but at the same time that we're doing that avera, the neshama screams out, and that screaming out affects by Hashem, by this level of godliness, which is l'mayim sedi shtashlos, above nature, to come and save the neshama. Okay, and since the revelation of this ratzin, of the inner ratzin of a yid, that on the level of its source in atzmus, this is the tshuva of the yid that was first in this negative place in this desert. And therefore, therefore, the Yud Rachmim, when they come down from their high level down into the world and deal with the neshama, Adam, and to arouse a person who it's mainly it's mainly, and this is also a while, it's mainly in the people that are the most distant. That's what he's saying. Meaning the higher you go, or the higher you come from, the lower you can go. Meaning the truest expression of this idea, Ilui of the Yud Rachmim, specifically when they go to the lowest of levels. The Yud Rachmim come to the person in the desert, and the person that's in the worst situation, meaning totally out of control, and helps that person. Then you really see it. To teach, it's as Rai Gordon says, to teach college students is easy. To teach little kids is much harder. Why? They know so much less, and you're trying to give over a message, try to get them something that's hard. And college students, it's like teaching chassidus to a card-carrying member. You speak the words, speak the language. You say atzilus, and no one asks any questions, and they move on. And no one knows anything, but it doesn't matter. When you speak to someone that doesn't know anything, you speak to, you learn with someone that doesn't know chassidus, and they're interested a little bit, and they're honest people, they'll start asking you a million questions. You don't know anything. But I'm saying when the Yud Rachmim come and reach the person in the desert when then the neshama is screaming, but the problem is they're in the desert. That's when we're not doing so good. That's the truest expression of the Maila of the Yud Rachmim coming down into Elul and into the neshama. So we have to pay attention. This whole idea, we have to think about it. We have to realize that we're good, and it can never come and say to yourself, you're not good. That's what we're sort of seeing here. We're seeing even if we're doing the wrong things, you say, oh, look, I'm not connected. It's not true at all. As the Rebbe said once to someone, that when a person comes to Shul and Yom Kippur once a year, for one day of year, the person is being true to himself. And so that's what we're saying here. Even when the neshama cries out, we're being true to ourselves. Even when we're doing the wrong thing, but the neshama is always crying out. So almost do the right thing. And we just have to listen to that voice when it's coming, when it's trying to say, hell, come, let's go out of here. Let's not do this. And you give Mr. Rachman, come, and Elul, we have to pay attention to this. And when we do that, and it gives us the push. We have to get out of that desert and come into the fields. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Have an amazing day.